I'm Daniel Minty, a cognitive behavioral therapist, teacher, and writer. The English word should is a modal verb that modifies the main verb in a sentence. I eat healthy food becomes I should eat healthy foods. This modal appears to have correlates in most every language. German has sollte, Spanish debería, French devrait, and Japanese subeki. Far from being an English oddity, the word seems to express an impulse passed down in the human genome. Perhaps one day we'll find the particular genes that get expressed when we say should. I eat healthy food describes reality. I should eat healthy food describes unreality. The word should becomes a bridge we walk over from something real into something unreal. We observe people eat in the real world. We'll never observe someone should eat. For the same reason, we'll never observe a pig with wings. Such things exist only in our imaginations. Why would we create such bridges and spend so much time and energy walking over them? The Austrian-British philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein suggests we look not for the meanings of a word, but for its uses. He writes of language games, that is, the ways in which we use words to accomplish particular tasks. Let's look at some language games played with the word should over time. Old English and German roots of the word convey a sense of obligation, of something being owed. Lithuanian cognates suggest being guilty or going into debt. Old Prussian cognates refer to duty. Usage evolved in Middle English to include a sense of futurity, something occurring in future time. I should became a way of inferring I shall. There are many contemporary language games for this word. Shoulding on ourselves can vicariously connect us to our value system, even as we act against it. I really shouldn't have this second serving of cake, we say, placing it on our plate. Shoulding here, we could say, lets us have that second serving of cake and not eat it too. This language game covers many situations. I'm better than my current behavior, we reassure ourselves. This choice is but a temporary detour from the high road that is my life. Playing on futurity, we might say I should as a way of assuring ourselves and others that I indeed shall, just at some future time, not right now. This allows us the dual pleasures of indulging ourselves in the moment while vicariously enjoying the satisfaction of completing some task as well. Should can also be a way to try on a black hat. This game affords us the guilty pleasure of smiling and saying, I really shouldn't do this, but. We might play this game when we perceive ourselves living under an overly strict regime it would be unrealistic to ask anyone to live up to at all times. We should on others for a variety of reasons. Shoulding can be an attempt to have our way with others. A common form of this language game is telling someone, you just need to fill in the blank. Playing this game also allows us to know best and to look down on people who disagree with us. Shooting on others can also be a way of distancing ourselves emotionally, avoiding listening to others, or self-righteously washing our hands of them and their dilemmas. It also beautifully sets the stage for later saying, I told you so. There's a price we pay for playing these language games, for dallying in unreality, as opposed to engaging the fact pattern of life. In her 1950 book, Neurosis and Human Growth, Karen Horney writes of the tyranny of the shoulds. Horney saw how shoulding on ourselves and others places us and them under the harsh rule of an impressive tyrant. Horney believed that all the suffering she saw in her long clinical career reduced to exactly this tyranny. Playing dictator to ourselves and others, rejecting the reality of whom and how we are, and demanding unreality, creates the emotional misery on such display in the world today. What are some alternatives to this reign of terror? I see two new roads forward. First, we can change up our language games. A game I prefer to shoulding is telling myself, I believe I had better. That is, I perceive a particular course of action as being better for me in the big picture of my life. As regards others, I can say, I believe you had better. These new language games feel less pressurized, judgmental, and demanding, and more gracious with and accepting of the reality of myself and others. Second, we can act instead of should. The verb shilly-shally comes to us from the same root as the word should. Dictionaries define shilly-shallying as failing to act resolutely or decisively. When we should, we shilly-shally, neglecting to make some decision and act on it. I choose to view should statements that appear in my mind these days as road signs pointing me towards some decision. Each time I make the decision and act on it, I become a bit freer. I live a bit less in tyranny, a bit more in the wide open democracy. It is the way things really are. Dr. Seuss' story, Yertle the Turtle, was my boyhood primer on liberation and remains one of my favorite parables. Having literally overthrown their tyrannical king, the ordinary turtles look around and realize they've reclaimed the democracy that is their pond's natural condition. The story ends, and the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles and maybe all creatures should be. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked what you've seen, consider subscribing to my channel. I'll look forward to connecting with you again next week.